All right, what's up, everyone? Welcome back to the Christian Kuntz Podcast. Here are my boys, Vinny and Trey. Season 1, Episode 9, with a very special guest today. You know, Char Valley alum, Villanova alum, a guy I call my brother, Rusty Benson, Ross Ventrone.
Welcome, baby. Welcome. What's up, guys?
Yes, sir.
We already filmed the show, so this is weird. I just wanted to be off the grid, man. I don't know. Social media is so wild. It's like just, you know, for me, it was consuming too much. And bro, with the videos, like I would do those videos, and I'm loose, and I'm like, you know, I seem like I'm like carefree, I guess, but like I would do those videos, and I would fucking stress about them, like big time stress about them, like for no reason really. I don't know what happened or why, but like I would almost feel like I don't know, dude. It was like I just felt like when the Villanova stuff was going on, and people would hit me up to do them, I'd be like, oh man.
Yeah.
Like, and just thinking, and then, like, I don't know, I just wanted them to be, like, funny and good. So, like, I don't know. I was always, like, gagging and throwing up right before I was filming them.
Really?
So, like, oh, yeah, dude. It was wild, yeah. But, like, I just wanted to be off, like, everything. I don't want to be, like, you know.
I am curious, though, because usually stuff like that, it starts as something that's fun and an outlet, and then once it becomes so, like when you did the original one, was that something that you just did for fun?
I was just doing it, just messing around, just doing it and fucking, you know, just kicking it, and then I like posted it, and then they won, so then I did another one, and then I was like, oh, this will be funny, and then like whenever it started becoming like I have to do it, like it was like, oh man, it just felt like a lot of pressure, and I was just like, you know, it was just such a stupid thing. I was like I'm not doing this anymore. It's like making me crazy. Like, what I got to do this shit for?
Dude, you're on Old Green Tree Road at the Denny's light.
Yeah.
with a ladder.
Yeah.
I saw you. I was stuck in traffic. I saw you in the ladder running.
Yeah.
Like,
no, I remember going out there and, like, my boy was like, what am I filming? I said, dude, just start running the tape and we'll cut it later. I was like, because I was in the middle, and I didn't know how far, because I get through the light and I run a little bit and then I like jump off to the side of the road. I was like, I gotta run for it. I gotta make it look like I'm going all the way to Giant Eagle. You know where it's at, so you know. But yeah, dude, that was wild. You
know, if you would have started, like, if you would have kept these going, like, you'd be
doing it,
dude.
Benson, you would be every. I know I was a couple years behind, I guess.
Yeah, but
you were a couple years ahead.
I mean, but like. I don't know, dude.
You know, I'll never forget. I went to the intermediate school, and I was going down there to the workout, and he had a white van down there, and
I've seen that.
Dude, they had the white van when he throws it against the truck. The ball it was unbelievable.
The best. You said something like. You like got mad at the van for like jumping off sides or something in one of the videos. You're like,
I was trying to. Yeah, I gave the van its own personality. And then it was and then you know we had to sell the van, and that was at that point I was like, fuck, I gotta come up with something new. Like the van was my thing, you know. But
so if we can get the van back, can the content come back?
Dude, let these guys do the content in here.
Please. I would happily do your content.
I mean, yeah, I'll write some stuff up. You know, I got a bunch of stuff in my phone, like kind of like stand-up type things and skits and stuff like that I just never got around to doing.
Where does this entertainer come from?
This is an entertainer right here.
I don't know. I feel like I'm just like kind of. I don't know. Like, how are you? I mean, how's anybody anything? You know what I mean? It's just like, it's just something I like doing, man. I like, you know, connecting and making people laugh and shit. And like, that was my way of doing it. But, you know, how does anybody, you know, where does anything come from? Where does what you're doing right now come from? Nobody can just sit up here every day and talk and shit like that. Like, it's you know, I mean, you practice it, you perfect your craft and everything, but I mean, you have that stuff or you don't, you know what I mean? Like some people, and that's why, dude, like some people who do this stuff, they just shouldn't be doing it.
They don't understand how.
Oh, but they're forcing it just based off of a platform that they have now. I'm talking about every athlete in the world has a podcast.
Yeah.
Some dudes, I mean, like me and you, like, we have similar. I know how you are. I know, like, how comfortable we are talking, how you are bullshit, how you're a real dude. And I see, like, some of these other guys just, like, forcing it so much. And it's like, bro, you are corny and, like, not funny at all. And just, like, it's just, like, brutal, some of this stuff. So that's another reason why I, like, got off social media and stuff. I was tired of it. It's so, like, so much, like, all right, dude. Like, you're not even, like, that's not even who you are. Like, you know what I mean? So...
Dude, that's why we launched this whole thing here. We all in this room like scroll our same feeds and like hate watch the same stuff, and then we just got finally so flustered at what the world of social media has become that we were like, let's come be miserable together and make media for the world.
It's like Seinfeld. You're always bitching about something. Like I like to be able to bitch about stuff. So that's
it's a good outlet.
It is.
It's a yinzer way, baby.
Yeah.
For sure.
And coming from, I want to get into the Char Valley days. St. Simon and Jude days. He went to my rival, Our Lady of Grace, St. Simon and Jude rivalry.
St. Simon. Just for preschool, though.
Just for preschool? And then you went to Char Valley?
And then I was Char Valley. I was up at Foxcroft at the top of the hill by Denny's there. That's where I started.
You, were you always, wrestling was your thing, wasn't it? Like
I played youth football for Keystone Oaks for 2 years. Like Char Valley didn't have a program where I was at in Scott for like a youth program back then. So we played at KO for 2 years, and then I went over to Brookline where I played for like 3 years, but just till I was like 10 years old.
Yeah.
And then like I started playing at 5, 6. And it was like the age groups were 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, and then 12 and 13.
Yeah.
So I played like till I was like 7 in KO, and then I went over a couple years in Brookline. But then I just didn't play for a while, and and I just didn't really like get into it like that. Did you ask me something? What was the question here? Well, I lost it.
No. I just asked like where you started. Like,
when did you start
playing football?
But football was like my thing for a little bit, and then I got into wrestling, and like I just stopped playing football and I just wrestled. Like wrestling was my thing, but I didn't do it. I wasn't a year-round wrestler.
Yeah.
Like I wasn't a freestyle guy in the summer. Like, a lot of kids do folk style, which is what you see like our, American like high school collegiate wrestling. And then like in the summers, international type stuff is all freestyle and Greco-Roman. I never did that stuff. I never wanted my ears to be all jacked up and stuff. So I always wore my headgear and stuff. I was one of those guys. But no, wrestling just became my thing. I got away from football, and then, going into my senior year, wrestling's kind of miserable. I mean, it's a misery. There's no it's not fun to go to ever. Practices aren't fun. The training's not fun. Even like matches aren't fun. Like it's not fun. It's just, when you win, there's no feeling like it in the world. And it's a completely different, feeling of it. But it's not like, football, you're running around, you're playing, you're enjoying. But hoops, you're playing basketball. Wrestling, no part of it. Like, practice is miserable. You have to cut weight. Like, everything's miserable. And I was in my junior year, and I was just like, I want to, like, in college, I want to do something. I can't wrestle. Like, there's no chance I can do this another however many years, cutting weight and all that. There's no chance I could do that. So that's really kind of why I started to play football. I was like, I could maybe walk on somewhere or do whatever. And then I played. I got banged up a little bit in camp. I never really had.
I remember when you got hurt. Yeah. It was you and Robertino, Corey.
Yeah. And like Hersky was there and those guys. But like, and we started running a different offense like midway through the year. And I got pulled a hamstring during camp, and that ruined camp, just like it's ruined, 8 of my camps, 7 of my camps. That's every year I pull my hamstring. So go back to my high school days, I was doing it too. But, I played like the last 4 games of the season healthy, and by that time the team had already been kind of set, and we were a playoff team. We were okay. We weren't like beating Central and teams like that, but we were like competing, and,
your team was
we
good.
had some wins. We won some games. We had some good players, man. Hersky was a monster.
He was really good. He went to Liberty, didn't he?
Yeah, he went to Liberty, a linebacker from, and he was like one of those kids that you couldn't hurt this kid. There was nothing you could do to Hurski to like hurt him.
He was going to run through this wall.
Exactly.
Behind.
He was like
serious.
he was a monster. Yeah. He was a killer of a dude, and great person too. And I love Hurski, but we were pretty good. But the team was already set, and we were giving him the ball more too, like at running back. Like he was running the ball as a bigger back, and I just never really like broke into high school football like that. Like even at like Char Valley, people like we went to the same high school, me and Christian, but I wasn't like I'm more known for like wrestling at Char Valley than I am football by a mile, and,
which is crazy because you made it to the NFL and played.
I feel like a lot of times whenever I came back from school and stuff, because then from there, my dad knew some people who were close with Pitt, and they were able to get my film into like the right hands and stuff. And they offered me to come walk on. Like I was the last walk on invite to camp. And, I just busted my ass for a couple years at Pitt, which is miserable being a walk on at a 1A school. It's brutal. I compare it to being like undrafted, like an undrafted free agent versus like a drafted guy. Yeah. Like that's how, but it's not, it's like,
it's still pretty.
It's way different. I mean, it being a walk-on, there's no like nothing invested in you. They don't give a shit. You're just grinding, bro. And like, you go, the whole year, you don't get any reps. Dudes go years without getting reps in practice. You know what I mean?
Seriously.
Like, it's a grind, and those dudes are there every day, busting their ass, and whenever they are, dude. I mean, so like. Anybody who does that stuff, I have a massive respect for, and everybody else should too. But from there, I was able to like transfer to Villanova, and I played 3 years up there. We had a really good team and good run up there. But
national championship.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
did you go to Nova because Bub was at Nova, and you kind of just were like,
yeah. Well, at the time, and I was at Pitt, and I was on. It was during spring ball, and somebody got hurt. This is how I got my opportunity at Pitt, was like, or for everything. This is why everything happened the way it did as far as me going to Villanova and everything that because at this point I was a walk-on for 2 years. This is my, you red shirt, I red shirted. And my sophomore year, like in camp, 2 guys got hurt ahead of me. So I was running with the 2s. So I was getting every rep in spring ball. So like I went from getting no reps at all to finally getting, because dude, when you're a walk-on, you get, they give you 10 plays at the end of practice for the 3s and whatever. You're in like 3 of those plays, 2 of which most likely aren't going your way. Like if I'm playing right corner and it's run away, what am I even doing to show any coach that I can do anything? You know what I mean? So this was a time for me like to get a bunch of reps and show them that I could play. And dude, I balled. Like I played my ass off in the spring game, and I was like, it was looking like I was going to be, but like the incoming freshmen were still coming in.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like I didn't have like all the scholarship money was still like going into incomers and stuff. And I had a couple guys at my position that were coming in like big time recruits, and just the nature of that stuff with how the money gets distributed, now it's all different. But back then it's like, I understood what it was to be like a walk-on. I knew that these guys were coming in. I knew that I was as good and all that stuff, but I just understood it. And I wasn't like I wasn't like a talker to my coach. Like I wasn't bitching ever. I just kind of fell in line and did which I think is how, it should be. You know what I mean? Yeah. So I just understood my situation, but I did have a really good spring ball. And from there, I made highlight film, because my brother came to my spring ball game, and at this point my brother was playing for the Patriots, and he came home and he was just like, he came to my game and he saw me play, and I played really well, and he had a conversation with me, and he's like, listen, what do you want to do? Like, do you just want to be like a guy on the team, like that you might play special teams, like at some point you might do something like that, or do you want to get out of there and go play, dude, and go. He's like, you should be playing. Like, you should be playing on defense. You should be playing. Yeah. What do you want to do? Like, what are your goals? Like, what do you want to do? If you like your friends here and this and that, whatever, I understand, but like, you'll make friends anywhere. Yeah. And he's like, do you want to play football? So at that point, it was like, I knew that, and he was, my brother's very, very direct and real, and he's,
that's huge, man.
Yeah,
like that's nice, man.
Yeah, so that kind of like set this in motion. So what I did was, I had to go. I got all the tape from my dude. So I was doing wild shit, like so. I don't want to be saying some of this stuff.
Just say it.
I'm gonna say it, but I don't. You're gonna have to figure out. Like,
we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
We'll talk about
Speak
it.
freely,
I don't
and
want anything. I don't want to cause any problems. But so Villanova had one scholarship left at the time.
Okay.
They had a kid. Something happened, but they had a scholarship left, and then there was these other schools that my brother was like, if I'm calling the Villanova coaches, if you're serious about transferring, get a highlight film made up, do what you got to do. So what I did first was I ran around, I got in touch with the film guy. I sat down, I acted like I just wanted a highlight tape of myself, like from the spring. I was like, I never get, like, I want a highlight tape, I want a DVD, whatever it is. Because back then it wasn't like it is now with fucking
YouTube
Huddle and YouTube and all that stuff. So I sat down. I make this spring highlight tape. I send it to Villanova. My brother sends it to Villanova. Villanova comes back to my brother, and they're like, we have one offer left. We want to offer Ross. So let him know. We can't talk to him now. They couldn't talk to me. I'm on a team, and the rules are probably all different now with the transfer portal. It's whatever. So they weren't allowed to talk to me at all. Now I was a walk-on, so it's a little bit different as far as like I wasn't like a scholarship kid at Pitt grinding and like was being
poached.
They were being shady and poached. Nobody knew who the fuck I was, man, and nobody was gonna know who the fuck I was. So it was like I did this, and they were like, "We have one scholarship. We want to offer it to him, but he has to ask for a release, and he has to tell them he's transferring." I didn't tell Pitt I was transferring yet because I didn't know if I was or not. I didn't know what was even going on.
Yeah.
So then at this point, I'm like, okay, so I have this scholarship that I know I have, and I go into Wannstedt was the coach at the time. I go into his office, and I'm like, I said, I said, I understand my situation here, and I'm good with it. I know that I can be doing more, and I'm not going to get the opportunity that I feel that I deserve. And I'm looking to transfer. And he was great. All the coaches were great. Anything that I needed from Pitt, like I can't say enough good things about the people at Pitt, and because they were just like anything you need, and the coaches here will help you. So-and-so has ties here. Like he was telling me, like this coach would talk to him.
Yeah.
He has coaches. He coached at Albany, blah, 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 all this different stuff. So they were very helpful. And I was considering some of those things too, because now Coach Hafley, who is the defensive coordinator for the Packers, Jeff Hafley, he was the GA at Pitt that year for me. And me and him got really close because I was during practice, I ran scout offense my sophomore year. So I was just receiver because Paul Rhodes, the defensive coordinator at Pitt at the time, he liked that I busted my ass, I worked hard, and he knew I was going to give a good look.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So he said he wanted me with the offense, and I was the number one receiver from the other team every week my sophomore year. So I played offense that whole year, and Hafley was the GA for the defense. But so he ran all the cards for the offense. So like me and him were together all day at practice. I mean, he was like anything that he really needed somebody to do, he was looking at me like in the huddle, like, hey, like get here, you got to get up and blah blah blah, whatever. So then from there, I had that relationship with him. Fast forward, and he had ties at Albany. And came back, and Albany wanted me to play receiver. Like, they saw my fit, so they wanted me to play receiver. So then I'm just like this, and I'm like, I have some other options now. And, in all the coaches, going back to the coaches at Pitt, they all, like, talking to Coach Rhodes, he, like, was an unbelievable coach, one of my best favorite coaches of all time. Was very good with. he said to me, he was like, Ross, he's like, I kind of knew this day was probably going to come, and just understood that he couldn't do anything for me, but I shouldn't be there because I should be playing. And he's a great dude, and, he had a lot of success after Pitt and stuff. But, from there, where am I? I tell this story, bro, and it's like, it's so much.
Well, I just want to interject this too.
Jump in and interrupt me too, because I don't want to just be fucking talking the whole time.
No, this is like perfect. It's so good because like a lot of people come into the studio setting and like you put on like your this ain't here right now. Like you're just telling us a story, and like I can like see it. Like, dude, you're reliving this as you're telling this, and so, I'm interested. So now you make the decision, right? You switch up. You're heading to Villanova. What's it like when you get there?
Yeah. So Villanova. My brother Bub was a
stud.
He's the guy.
Yeah. He's
they didn't let him practice there,
Hall
right?
of Famer. He's like the guy.
Yeah.
In Villanova. So, and whenever I was going there, now, mind you, I haven't played in a game of college football yet. Like I haven't done, you know what I mean? I'm still not I'm going into my third year, and I have this name going to Villanova, who is considered at this time. It was Brian Finneran was the receiver who with the Falcons, Hall of Fame receiver, Walter Payton winner, Brian Westbrook, multiple Walter Payton Award winner, Hall of Fame. Eagles Hall of Fame. Yep. I don't know. Someday he'll probably get in, but he was. And then my brother's was like the next name in with these guys. So I'm coming in to Villanova as a former walk-on who still hasn't played, with an expectation of doing this. And and not from the coaches, but like the kids on the team. Like for the last 2 years, every veteran and the fifth-year guys on that team played with my brother.
So they knew.
So they all knew my brother, and they were all everybody was awesome, welcoming. They all brought me in. They were all cool as hell, all those good dudes. But they all knew what my brother was like. Me and my brother are way different as far as the way. We played similar, but we didn't play similar at the same time. My brother was straight line. He used to just annihilate people.
Is it true they didn't let Bub practice?
Yeah,
they legitimately were don't practice.
Yeah, when he was at practice some of the stories that got told about my brother at Villanova that I'm going into is he was required to wear a red jersey and not allowed to hit people. Not because he was hurt. He wasn't allowed to hit people because the first two practices he put out the starting running back and the starting receiver. So they just said Bubba's not allowed to hit anymore. Bubba's not allowed to hit. So he was. Dude, Bub was.
That's crazy.
Bub was a freak, bro. Killer, and he going back to when he was at Nova, he was going into his senior year, he was preseason everything. He was, he would have been up for Defensive Player of the Year, all that stuff. He breaks his ankle, snaps his ankle, third game into his senior year. The first time he ran full speed was at his pro day. After that, as a small school guy, you miss that much time. You miss that much time, and you're coming off of an injury. It just so he went undrafted and he ended up having an unbelievable career. But he was my brother's a killer, dude, killer. So going into Villanova with that and I'm different. I'm more. I consider myself a little smoother.
A little finesse
player. I think that my feet are a little bit better than my brother's, and things like that. But as far as just being super explosive, there's nobody that can match what my brother was putting out. So,
100%.
So I'm going to Villanova with this expectation. These dudes all think I'm this fucking killer. You know what I mean? And I feel like a kid. You know what I mean? I'm not.
That helps you for sure.
But my brother was 210.
Yeah.
Doing it, I was 175, 180. My senior year of high school, I wrestled 135. My freshman year at Pitt, I was 150 maybe. At Villanova, when I first got there, I was 173. So then I by my senior year, my third year at Villanova, so my fifth year.
Yeah.
So whatever, I was 184. I graduated and gained almost 20 pounds for my pro day, but Yeah, go ahead. You could jump
I
in,
mean,
but I
was
fast
locked in.
forwarded some stuff and but like but Villanova. I mean, I got to Villanova. You asked what it was like. I mean, it was just a lot, to walk into, and it was just I've always been myself and my own identity, but I just knew what people were thinking and stuff, but. I just did my own thing and created, I think, my own name there.
So, in case people, haven't followed your career, maybe this is the first time they're seeing you. Like, how did your career at Villanova?
No.
I mean, dude, we have a really local audience that, like, knows
you.
Steelers, knows, just obviously with Christian, but like, we've been looking at the analytics. Honestly, dude,
this guy.
I want to also just shout out this, like, the comments on the show. Like,
Crazy.
you should be really proud of yourself, man, because like you're building a brand here that is like. I think the city's really excited about. So, if you're watching this right now, leave a comment. Let us know like what you like about the show, all this stuff, and we want to have more conversations like this. So, keep going with this though. In case they don't know, how did your career play out at Villanova, and how did you end up eventually in the league?
Did you start immediately at Nova?
No. So they had the fifth year. They ran a 3-3-5. So there's three D linemen, and 5 DBs. But that last DB, like the strong side DB, was like an outside backer. That's what DY played. That's what he played for us. He was, and he was
played in the league as a
killer.
fullback.
I mean,
so
never played offense.
He was out there killing people.
Yeah.
But no, so we ran a 3-3-5, and it was like the one safety position was like the one like up for like, and it was like a down safety that, there was that linebacker and there was like the other like weak side safety, but the fifth year guy was deep who, he had been there. He was a good player, smart kid, tough kid, Zach Myacher, and he was there. So he was like, and that ran the defense.
Right.
Like they called it the Ranger. That ran the defense. And like, I wasn't really going to play that. The coach had me going for this weak side safety position, which was like a down position, like in the box, like right up on in, just taking on like tight ends and stuff like that. I just wasn't built for it. Like at that point, I weighed 170 pounds, 175, like soaking wet, and I just wasn't built to be like down there like that at the time. So, I'm not making excuses for myself, but the kid that was ahead of me, he was better at that point, at that position. And then, Zach ended up getting hurt a few games into the season, and he broke a bone. He had some, all that going on. So I was the next guy to be put in, and I started playing the deep safety where I could like be free to roam around, move, and I'm a good open field I was a good open field tackler. Like that was, my thing, and I credit wrestling to a lot of that. But at that point, like I had a couple really good games back there, and then I became like that guy. And then going into the spring, it was like a 3-way competition for, that position that I had already been playing, but I was like put there by like default, and we had some guys coming in, and, I had a really good spring, but I tore my labrum. So I had to get surgery like before the season, and we were opening up with West Virginia. So I had like from May to the opener to get like surgery and get ready to play. And I had just earned this spot. So that was like, but the other kid who I was going, he tore his labrum as well. So like we were both like rehabbing together to get healthy, but I mean, we were both going for that deep safety.
Who was at West Virginia at that time?
It was Pat White. It was Pat White, Noel Devine. Steve Slayton wasn't there. He had just left. It was Devine, Jock Sanders was the other guy. They were good, man. They were, our defense was built to stop that, like the read option. So we did. I mean, we shut it down. I had a really good game. Like I ended up getting healthy and played in that game, and I had a really good game. I was just supposed to follow White around. That was my only. So, and he was so fast. It was like he was just.
Did you guys play them tough?
Yeah, the first half we did. They ended up beating us by like 21, but they threw on our corners. We had young corners. We had like freshmen. We had a true freshman corner out there, just like they beat us on the outsides, and that's not what West Virginia even did.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We just couldn't hold up. We just didn't have the depth. So But yeah, no, we played them tough, and then all our D1 games we played tough. We beat Temple the next year.
Wow.
And went on, and from there we won a national championship, and
crazy.
That was a wild run, and
What was that like, national championship FCS level? I mean, I've made the playoffs, and we got bounced in the first round, but just for us to make the playoffs at Duquesne as an FCS team, like, it was lit.
Yeah,
we were.
Oh, bro, that's a bit. I mean, like, people are getting. You're going to get a sense of it this year more so, like fan wise,
right?
But playoffs, every single sport is decided with a playoff tournament style thing.
Yeah.
They did this bowl game stuff. I'm talking in 1A. They did it for the money and whatever they were going to do.
Right.
But like they can do it. They can do a big playoff system. And you're going to see like playoff football that we did at 1AA or FCS.
It's intense, bro.
When you get into the playoffs, there's
crazy.
nothing like it.
Yeah.
There's nothing like it. Every single rep is just so heightened and it's just it's a different feeling, and you don't know who you're playing, and like in a lot of teams you haven't even heard of before, so it's like out of your conference in college, you're playing, you're going here, you're going there, wherever, and we were the number 2 seed. We had one loss during my senior year. We had one loss to New Hampshire. At New Hampshire, it was like 40 miles an hour winds.
It's a tough
place. Brutal conditions, and it was like whoever came down to having the ball with the wind last, kick the field goal and won. So that was our only loss. So we were the 2 seed. Montana was the 1. And, we opened up with Holy Cross. We beat them up. And then the next week we played New Hampshire, and it was like insane. Like this, it was at our spot, and it snowed like feet of snow every time out there, running the shovels across like every yard line. Like it was crazy.
Great.
So we ended up opening play, they bad pitch. Dude on my team scooped it, took it for 6. John Dempsey, another stud player. Yeah. He was with the Rams for I think a camp and on their team a little bit. Took it. We ended up beating them 42-6. Spanked them, like what I mean. We beat up. We were in the best conference in the thing, and we were. We were so good, dude. We really were. We had. Chris Whitney was a stud quarterback. He played out in his high school ball out in Philly at like St. Joe's Prep, I think.
Okay.
I don't want to say. I don't.
Big school.
If it's that right or wrong, but he was a stud. Came in. He was like the Tim Tebow of like 1AA type deal. And then we had Matt Caesar, who was a multi-sport athlete, baseball. He played for the Cubs.
Your favorite teammate.
That's my guy. And then then we had Brandon Harvey, played receiver. He was with the Cardinals. He was with the Falcons, with the Cardinals. He was an awesome receiver, kind of like an AJ Green like style guy, And I'm trying to think. Yeah, he was tough. We had Matus was our D tackle. DY wasn't on that team. He was on the year before. We could have went back to back. We had tough break in the playoffs the year before. But dude,
there's nothing like playoff football.
Run. The playoff football, like when you're going in those and you're with your with your boys, your brothers who in college the guys you live with every day. So it's a different feeling than like the NFL is. It's more pure than like anything. And now it's it's losing that stuff with all this
money
and whatever I don't understand any of it. The transfer stuff, I don't pay attention at all. I don't watch.
Did you call NIL nil?
Yeah, they call it nil.
Yeah, no.
Is that wrong?
NIL nil.
Whatever it is.
Same difference.
Like,
tomato.
It's all stupid. Okay.
Let me just say.
It's like
Yo, let me just say something, dude. Let me just say something.
I was like, nil. Hold on. What is?
This is why I've been such a fan of this dude. Like we've had how many big names in this studio? You're the only person I ever tried to find a jersey that represent like. I don't fanboy over athletes,
my man.
But like I love real people, and that's why like I connected to your content because it's real, and it's like I know that there's effort and energy that goes into that because we've all created our own content for years,
this is insane.
and I've had that's I sat in front of the camera, filmed the video, dropped 4 F-bombs. Was passive aggressively mad at my wife for no reason because the video didn't go the way I wanted, and then you don't make the post, And it's frustrating. But I just want to let you know that on the other end of that, like, it's well received, and like that little comedic relief, or the fact that you just made the effort to go to the ocean, and didn't you jump in?
Yeah.
With the helmet and the shoulder pads, and with the ladder.
I was living down in Florida, and I was just like, I don't know what I'm gonna do.
This thing was in the ocean.
So that could be So I suited up, and I had my mom overnight the helmet. She overnighted the helmet to me, and I had like a Villanova practice, whatever, and I had shorts. So I was like, send everything Villanova that I have at the house, and she sent it all down, and that was the only thing I could think of. I was like, how do I incorporate, Because I was going to run around in traffic again, but like, I wasn't going to repeat.
Yeah.
And I was like, what am I going to do? I'm going to run in traffic down here.
Yeah, in Florida.
Great. Yeah, that's good. So, but yeah, that's what we came up with because,
I love it, dude.
The videos are unbelievable.
Yeah.
Dude.
Oh, they're
the
crazy.
videos have been unbelievable. I wish they were still around.
Yeah.
But
maybe someday.
They live in a hard drive somewhere?
I have them on my phone.
Oh,
I mean, I just had, I like anybody does, like film stuff.
Yeah.
It was funny, dude. Like, I was doing the videos for, because listen, I like just pulling the phone out and filming it and all that kind of stuff, like at the time. Mm-hmm. But this dude hit me up, and he was a Chartiers Valley kid, nice kid, and he was really good at what he did.
Jason Reston.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it was like, at the time, like, those videos weren't like for that like style, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
they were like a dirtier, raw, this is a quick like thing, for like those, like, because at that time on Instagram you can only do like 15-second clips, so it's just like,
and they weren't even reels; they were literally just videos you'd upload.
And I was trying and he wanted to do something and film of it, and I was just like trying to like force it too much. But the one I filmed, I feel like I wasn't like
authentic.
Yeah, I felt like too forced or something. He did a good job, but I just it wasn't like, that wasn't me type deal.
Right.
You know?
Dude.
So take us back, man. Like, what was it like growing up with an older brother? You know what I'm saying? That obviously you two had to be fighting, if not fighting, at least doing something crazy in the goddamn house. Mm-hmm. So, like, what was it like growing up with your brother who also was an NFL vet at one point in time?
Yeah, so, I mean, my brother's 4 years older than me. So I was, and I have an older sister, too, who, if you talk to people who know our family, they'll say that she's the best athlete. Yeah. I mean, my sister was... her
name's still on the board at Char Valley.
Yeah.
Really?
She's...
Track records, yeah.
Track, I mean, state champ in the long jump. She won the 100-meter... the women's 100-meter as a freshman in the Whippeal. Like she has a Whippeal gold medal for the women's 100. Like for triple, so they used to, and I don't know if they changed the divisions now with track, but it used to just be double A and triple A.
Yeah, that's all it was.
Yeah, that's all it was. So she was the triple A 100-meter, gold medalist in the Whippeal as a freshman. She has, I'd say, as many. I mean, she has as many. She had a gold medal every year in it whips. She's as decorated as any athlete from Char Valley ever.
100%.
Probably more so.
Yeah.
And and I don't think they do that Whippeal Hall of Fame or whatever, and I don't think she's ever been like contacted or anything for that. Which is crazy because she's
who's in charge of that?
I mean, so
Where's
I don't know
camera?
what they do, but I mean,
We're coming.
Let's go.
Is Bub the oldest, and then
Bub's the oldest? Yeah, Bub's 4 years, Dana's 2 years, and then I'm the last. So when my brother was a senior in high school, I was in 8th grade, and my sister was a sophomore. So I got 2 years with my sister in high school. Never overlapped with my brother. But me and my brother were super close. Like, he beat me up a little bit, but not like we didn't fight like that because one, I was so small for my age anyways. Like I was, I didn't go through puberty till I was going into my senior year of high school. Mm-hmm. Like, so I was so far back in my growth. Like I was like a little boy my whole life, and my brother was like the guy, like right. So I mean, he was just, we didn't fight like that. I was just with him all the time. I was like, and my sister was me. We fought more because we were competing more, me and my sister, because she was, when we were kids, she was faster than all the boys. She was, she was
whooping y'all ass.
She was my sister was a freak. So like me and my sister would bicker and fight more, but we're as close as anybody could ever be. It was never like a hatred type fighting, It was like brothers and sisters do, but me and my sister are super close. Me and my brother are still super close. But, following his like footsteps type deal, you know, I looked up to my brother and admired him more than felt like I was, because we were totally different. I mean, as far as our whole roads. I wrestled.
Yeah.
He was, you know, Bub was at school whenever I was doing a lot of my wrestling, but anytime he got a second to come home, he was at my tournaments. He charted all the books, you know, which is, he's such a good coach now. He's just like, he's so dialed in on all that stuff. He knows exactly what's going on all the time. So he was my number one fan with that stuff. And, you know, it didn't become, like, the football thing didn't even become a reality until you know, even once I was at Villanova, like until he had the conversation with me about transferring, I never even was thinking about, like, football getting me I thought my last year at Pitt, they would offer me a scholarship.
Yeah.
Is what I thought. I thought that I'd be like a kickoff guy, kickoff return, you know, and they would offer me a scholarship. So, you know, before that, football was like we were kids having fun playing, and I looked up to him, but I never, you know, tried to be what he was doing or anything like that. I was like my own dude, but always, you know, admired, and I looked up to my brother, and he paved the way for a lot of, you know, I say a lot of times, my brother was a freak in school too, and teachers would have me, and they thought that they were getting like a different student. Like, 'cause my brother was like, so my brother and my sister, you know, they were really good students, and I was a little bit more.
You weren't so great of a student.
You know, I was a good student. I got really good grades, but I wasn't like as, you know, focused as them. I wasn't, you know, teachers, like, I think they were, you know, not, they had a different feeling at the end of the year than they did at the beginning of the year with
when did like NFL football become a reality? Because I know when I was at Duquesne, I never imagined like getting to the NFL or even having some sort of lick of interest. But after, you know, my sophomore year, you win a couple awards. They send out like a scout. If it's a scout up to practice, whatever, they come, and that's when it's like you walk out to practice, you see the scouts, and you're like, okay, I'm making it now. You're like, I'm like legit. They sent a scout here, but meanwhile that means absolutely nothing. But when did it become like a reality for you?
I would say probably after the first game, my like senior year. Like I wasn't really thinking of it before that. Like my junior year, and I say my senior year, my third year at Villanova, my fifth year. But before, you know, my junior year, there was never hyper, like those guys that were at practice, like the scouts that were at practice were never really there for me.
Because you guys were,
you know, because at that point they were there for some of our receivers. We had a tight end who got drafted by the Bengals. You know, Matt Sherry, who was awesome. And,
you guys had some dudes.
Bro, we were good, man. We were good.
I mean, this is crazy for an FCS program to have like multiple dudes that are in the league, had tryouts in the league. Like I know one of my years at Duquesne, we had 2 or 3 guys get like a rookie minicamp invite, and that was huge. Yeah. Let alone guys getting signed.
We had a guy every year that kind of like, you know, was in a camp, had a shot pretty much. I mean, like Matt got drafted in the 6th round, and I don't know if he got hurt. He was going to make their team, and I think he got hurt, and he was on their IR. And then the injuries, just his knee, like, I mean, you know, especially back then, it's not like it is now. Guys didn't recover the same. But, you know, dude, we were really good. You know, and we had a lot of really good guys. But what did you ask? Where am I at now?
When it became a reality, like
So going into my listen, I just fucking just go and I start talking.
Good.
I have no idea where I was ever started.
Like a real conversation.
You know,
it's a Vinny conversation.
Yeah, it's a real conversation. How many times, like, when you're talking to somebody, what were we talking about?
Yeah.
Especially when you're telling your story, though. It's like,
it runs together.
So much other stuff comes up, and then like it just like
chase the rabbit.
Just pops in. I'm just like, and I'm probably saying stuff, and I'm like, I'm fucking losing them.
No.
I gotta
hey,
go back.
my friend, our brains work very similar.
Yeah, for sure.
Deal with it every day.
Yeah, I'm sure. But no, so going into my first game, my senior year, and I always thought that I like, you know, and I was light, I was small, like I'm 5'8", you know, at this point, 184, you know, and I knew that I would have to be a lot bigger come the time, but you know, the first game my senior year, I balled. We played against Temple. I really played well. I had a lot of tackles, and after that game, it was like, I had like 9 solo tackles. I had a pick. I had a fumble return for a touchdown.
You had a great game.
I was like a National Player of the Week type.
Yeah.
Like it was.
You're being
between
modest.
me and BW Webb, who was also a former Steeler, my teammate. He had like 3 picks that week against Virginia in like one. So like, I mean, it was like, but it got me. We beat Temple, and Temple had 10 wins that year. So I mean, we beat a really good team, and that was the year that we won the national championship and stuff. So like that game put me kind of on the map as far as like, okay, now it's a reality. As far as after the season, I got to figure out what I'm doing, and we had a really good year and all that. And my brother set up all my training and got me all dialed in.
Did you get in right away, or like, how was your rookie year after? Take me into like pro day, after pro day, what happened? Because like I didn't sign, and I know that sucked. Like you don't sign, you get a rookie minicamp invite, and I'm like, you're thinking you're going to sign as a priority free agent, and then you don't, and then you're like, all right, you're going to a rookie minicamp invite, and what people don't understand is being a rookie minicamp invite, dude, is like you still got to earn. You got to go earn a spot, Trey. Like. Even if you ball out, you can still not be on a team after that.
Yeah. I mean, you can go to rookie minicamp and not get it could be play away, it could be this, it could be that. You might not have opportunities to even like show them anything. And at that point, it's like you're a tryout guy who probably is better than a lot of guys on the team, and you just can't get your
dude. When I was at West Lib, it's D2, but I walked on also, and I ended up earning a scholarship by my senior year. But it was like, just to get a rep in practice, and that's at the D2 level. Yeah. So like it's consistent everywhere. But
exactly
what I did was when I got, and this is like some advice for like walk-ons out there if you're watching, but like in scout team, I played whatever position was like the key player. Yeah. So like 1 week I'd play quarterback in scout team if I had to.
That's
1 week I'd play like, especially as a freshman, when like our 2 freshman quarterbacks were like, if it was a mobile team we were playing, like the one freshman quarterback was like a pocket passer, so it was a terrible look for that, and I would play like this wildcat instead of him. So it happened a couple times, and not every time.
Are you pretty fast? I mean, you can run.
I was really very fast. Ask Trey.
Okay, nice.
I'm not I'm not doubting. Yeah, I'm not questioning.
He's quick.
I'm quick. Okay. I'm not fast.
Okay.
I ran the fastest 40-yard or the slowest 40-yard dash on the team for a wide receiver, but I ran the quickest shuttle. I don't know how to explain it. You know what I'm saying?
It's true.
His sideline,
the sideline, he'll get busy on you.
Yeah.
We're good at tennis.
Yeah. Oh. Well, pickleball. We
got to get out there and play some tennis.
Bro, listen.
Come on.
I can't fucking do anything without getting hurt. I'm not trying to run around and play tennis and stuff.
Pickleball?
I'll play ping pong.
All right.
You're a ping pong guy.
I'm a ping pong guy.
I know you're a ping pong guy. I'll play in ping pong. But even that,
you're hurting your
shoulder. I got stuff going on. It's 50-50. But
that's funny as hell.
But yeah, man. Well, I don't fuck. You guys got to tell me where we're at again.
I actually have a question for you, because this might make sense.
Chopping it up. So go take me back to when you first signed with your first NFL team.
Okay.
Who was it?
So my training and everything, my pro day was like the biggest thing for me at the time. I gained like 20 pounds.
What'd you run?
I ran 4.4. I ran 4.45 at Temple's pro day, which was big because they had everybody there. Yeah. So Mike Mayock's son was on my team. Mike Mayock Jr. was on my team at Villanova.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
And I became, friendly with his dad, who is an unbelievable guy, best there is, dude. And just helped me, he like as far as like, what to work on, things to do, don't drop any balls on your pro. Do not drop a ball. Don't let the ball touch the ground.
Cannot happen.
Just things like that, reading stuff that I know already, but really telling me emphasis points and help me talk to a bunch of teams for me and help me out there. So going into like the draft, like teams that were contacting my agent were like Atlanta. They had 2 6-round picks. And I didn't think I was going to get drafted, but based off of my pro day numbers were really good.
Yeah,
I did 225 like 24 times. I did my vertical was like 37, 38, 37 and a half, whatever. Like I had not to blow myself, but,
Brother,
but I'm just giving. I'm giving.
You're a freak as well.
So I was from there. Like there was some interest with the number stuff with the scouts. So Atlanta, like a couple teams, and then Atlanta took a safety in the 6th round from Montana. And I was just like, so at that point, like I really didn't. There wasn't like the Cardinals were. There was talk about that, like, but nothing was ever like, it's right after the draft. I was talking to my agent, and it was between, or New England. It was New England called, and they had my brother had played there before. My brother now was with the Browns, but New England called and wanted me to come up as an undrafted free agent for $1,000 signing bonus, $600 was what it came out to. It was $600, and then after I had committed to them, Tampa came in and wanted me to go down there, and then Atlanta wanted me to try out as a tryout guy at their rookie mini camp. But I had already committed to New England, and my brother had been there, so I don't know why I thought that would be a good idea, but that was nuts. New England was just insane.
What year were you there?
2010 season and 11 season. My second year, we went to the Super Bowl. I was up and down, but we went to the Super Bowl against the Giants and lost for the second time. My brother was on the team when they lost the first time.
Yeah, which one was the undefeated team was the first time?
That was 07.
So you were the Manningham sideline?
Yes. Yeah.
Bro,
against that.
Fucking bro.
Not to change the subject, but Bub had a tackle on kickoff. Now I'm like looking back, and I didn't really understand, the importance of special teams when I was watching it back then. But now that I'm looking at it, and I remember in the Super Bowl, Bub had a tackle inside the 20 at like the 13-yard line. He absolutely sawed a dude off.
Insane.
Like in the Super Bowl, I got the chills.
Yeah,
Can we
crazy.
talk about
It was
that?
crazy.
What's up with Chartiers Valley just creating some special team demons? Like y'all boys is all
There's two guys. It's them.
Hey, come on. You like, don't do that.
No, but I'm saying, yeah.
Come on,
bro.
Playing a position in the NFL that you never really played like that. I mean, you were in the NFL. It's not a linebacker.
Hype him up.
National, credentials as a college linebacker. Like, bro, don't do that.
No, I know.
Yeah.
Well, we had Eric Cush too. Eric Cush from Char Valley. He played 7, 8 years in the league. Maybe 9. I don't know.
He played a lot. He was with. He didn't
Cleveland,
win with Kansas
Chicago,
City, though, right?
What's that?
He was with Kansas City too.
Kansas City,
Cleveland, but he didn't win.
Chicago.
He didn't win with Kansas City, right? It was way.
He didn't win one. He's in. It actually makes sense because I talked to him on the phone like last year. He's in Strongsville, Ohio, and it makes sense for Cush. A guy like Cush, like this dude, he would grab your head and smash your head like a grape. Like that's, and he's in Strongsville, Ohio. He's the offensive line coach at the high school, and I'm like, they couldn't have a better guy for this.
No question.
Strongsville, Ohio. Cush
was on my wrestling team. He was a freshman when I was a senior. Like I know Cush is a different guy.
Yeah.
So he was bigger than me at the time, but then, fast forward 10 years or whatever, I was playing against him in the NFL after really the last time I saw him, he was a freshman in high school. Now he was with the Chiefs and I was with the Steelers, and we're on the field pregame, and it was like,
crazy.
Holy shit, dude, you're a fucking monster. You are a monster of a dude. And, unbelievable, great wrestler, great person, another guy who just fucking works his ass off. And I think that's what the Char Valley stuff, whatever. I think our community, not to get off topic, but I think it inspires a competitive style thing, growing in you have a lot of good athletes that are competing against each other, but I don't know, and maybe it's like that in a lot of places, but I feel like there's a brotherhood type deal growing up where we grew up
100%.
and like the friendship, but it's you still want to rip your boy's head off, but you're doesn't matter like friendship anywhere really, but I just think that it was different maybe just in the South Hills of Pittsburgh in general, but where we're at, and
100%.
but I think that breeds some
grit there.
some talented dudes and some tough good
when
athletes.
you get a guy from your high school that goes to the league and successful, any kid that's playing high school football wants to be I looked at him. I remember he came in and spoke to my high school. We were playing my senior year. I wasn't playing to rupture my spleen, but he came in and gave a pregame speech. we were fucking amped. He was screaming, his hair was going. We were amped, but like every guy in there wanted to be Ross and Bubba Ventrone. It's the truth. Like you see a guy go to the league from Char Valley, you're like,
that's crazy.
How do I? And even when I got to college, I'm like, I want to be a Ventrone. I want to play. I think I could play special teams. I'm like, I think I could run down on kickoff, whatever, do that. But reality, like I wasn't. I made the right move.
Reality. You're one of 32 guys in the world that do what you do. I mean, like you're for sure.
Talk about that a little bit, man. Like you and Christian actually share a lot of resemblance in terms of your career. Like, you know what I mean? Like you got cut a lot and then end up finding your way. You also got cut a lot and actually with the same two teams for the most part.
Listen, and that's why, I admire him so much because, I know what my road was like and I was kind of in the league the whole time. You know what I mean?
I was before.
Dude, you were grinding to get
a tryout,
anything.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I kind of had a little bit better circumstance going, way better, not even close to as good. I mean, you weren't like you talk about percentages of tryout guys not getting plays and not getting looked at, but I was at least in practice. I was like getting reps on practice squad stuff, and I grinded, for a while. Had some injuries, this and that set me back, but like for what Christian did, like, dude, you went out, you were in fucking.
I was in Arizona.
You were
working.
in Arizona. You stayed with some dude out there, did wild shit, something I wouldn't have done. You know what I mean? And nobody would have done whatever% of people would do. So like, dude. I mean, to do what he did and like break into the league and just when he had an opportunity, he made the most of it. And obviously, look, I mean, it's insane, bro.
Ross,
what you're doing is nuts.
I need you to talk about when you're getting cut in season, though, because I've been cut in season.
Yeah.
I was 2020 up and down on the practice squad, and like I'd go from putting in a dog fence. Dead serious. I'd be in Upper St. Clair putting in a dog fence. I'd get a call from Cole down at the Steelers office, and he'd be like, "Hey, can you come down? We're going to sign you to the practice squad this week." I'd practice 2 days, whatever. Saturday walk through. Sunday they'd play. They'd cut me Monday because they needed another position. You've been in those shoes multiple times, the most ever in NFL history.
Yeah, I set the single season record for most times cut by a single team. But no. Listen,
is that for real?
Yeah, that's real.
Yeah.
That's a real stat.
My second year, I was. Yeah, they were doing the same thing. So my second year was nuts. I had an ESPN Kenny Mayne, the main event, because of how much I was getting cut and signed.
Seriously.
So
there's so much of your story that just like it just layers.
There's layers,
and
bro. I could talk to this dude for like 10 hours straight about his story.
Yeah, it's so fuck. No. New England, what they would do was, and it was their way of taking a 53-man roster and extending it to a 60-man, whatever they were doing.
Cheating again.
Like it would not. I mean, no, they were doing everything. I
just had to take a shot
at that
dude.
point. It was brutal to deal with, like as a player. But I would be on the practice squad up until like Friday. They would activate me on Friday for the game. I'd play in the game on Sunday. Then they'd cut me on Monday. And then there's a 24-hour waiver period, which everything's different now with the practice squad. I know you can like bring practice squad guys up and put them right back down with no, like it used to every single time a transaction happened, that got like it was a new, that guy got cut or it was a contract. So if I got called up from practice squad, they activated me. When they cut me or when they can't just put me back down on the practice squad, they have to cut me. So at this point, when they cut me, there's a 24-hour waiver period where any team can come in and claim me and be like, we want to pick them up. But that means at that point, if a team claims you, the team claiming you have to be on their active roster for 3 weeks. Yep. You have to be on their 53-man for three straight weeks before they can cut you. So a lot of teams didn't like to do that because if they're claiming a guy, especially a guy like me at the time where it's practice squad mainly guy. That season was in – I've talked about this a bunch, but never really in this kind of like setting or but that season was so crazy because I would be on the practice squad the whole week. Okay, and I didn't make a lot of plays that year. I did enough that like I wasn't fucking up. I was out there playing more not to make mistakes than I was to make plays.
Right.
I was playing very, afraid to, fuck up. I mean,
to do anything.
Yeah. I didn't want to like on teams. I was just like, don't get a penalty. Don't do, get down there, get off, whatever. Like, I was just playing not to, So I was never, I never really made plays in New England, and I would go the whole week on the practice squad being the other team, and then I would get activated for a game, which I didn't take any reps at in practice
That's
as
shitty.
the team, and I had to know, both sides of the field, like positions. Like if I was playing like left tackle on kickoff return, I had to know the right tackle, and all that stuff. So after not taking any reps like the whole week,
That's hard.
then I would get activated. I'd play in the game. I'd play average. So then they'd cut me. And when they would cut me, like the waiver period for me, they knew that nobody was going to claim me.
Yeah.
They knew it wasn't a risk for them to like put me out there. For me, like, hey, Brett, and I was like, this is the conversation I would have with myself. It'd be like, dude, give them a reason to not cut you. Give them a reason to worry about it. Like, go out there and make a couple fucking plays, and then the team claims you, and then boo-hoo now. So and I just like, dude, I just couldn't get to the point where I was making plays. I just like I was fucking, I was just like, I don't know if I was in my own head or I just didn't feel like prepared in the game like that, But I think their whole thing was, and I took it as like a flattering thing, is they felt I was a guy who they didn't need to, prepare like that in order to be prepared. Like, I think that I took that as, that's the positive spin I want to put on it. And I hope that they think that way. But obviously I think they think that way. He's very calculated, Bill.
Yeah.
But I was, that was a wild season, dude. Like, I mean, like all those, like, because every week that happens, I'm thinking, I'm in my head, I'm like, fuck, every time I'd get cut, it'd be like, all right, let me see here.
Yeah.
If I get cut, I made a play. Am I going to get is another team going to come in and claim me? Where am I going to be? Okay. And then there was a couple weeks like, bro, I was, and I don't know if I should talk. I'm going to talk about it. Because we're, you guys can cut and post, right? That's how it works.
Cut a bunch of shit.
Post. Okay.
Get ready for a long day.
This second year was so fucking wild. Like, am I on a time limit here? Can I just talk? Like, we're here hanging.
There's nobody in here after you.
So that year was so fucking nuts, dude. I was getting bumped up and down, okay? And I had long hair at the time, and I was in the media for my transactions. Like, that's, I wasn't making plays in the game, but everybody was huddled at my locker, because they wanted to in my shit. And then most days I was, told, don't go in the locker room today. Don't go in the locker room. So I just sat in the dining hall until practice started, and then I like,
That's unbelievable.
So I'm doing that. And let me see, where am I at now? So I'm trying to think of what order to tell these stories in because they'd be better. But I just get active for the first game I get activated for is Buffalo. It's week 3, or week 4, week 3, whatever. We end up losing in the last second field goal. Buffalo beats us. We were both 3-0 at the time, so it would have been week 4. It was my first active game ever. I didn't play very well. But not bad. But I did everything that I was supposed to do. I did my job. I didn't have any tackles, but I did my job. I didn't do anything wrong, and so I thought I was up at this point. I thought I was on the active roster. And I thought I was a guy that they were, activating, keeping. So that week I was active the whole week in practice. And like from the week before where I hadn't got any reps, I'm getting reps in practice, and I'm like, okay. Like I felt ready for the game. I felt ready for the game, ready to go. And we're playing against the Raiders in Oakland. So we're leaving on Friday instead of Saturday. You leave usually the day before the game. So because it was a West Coast game, we were leaving on Friday to go after practice. So I got my first time, on a big trip. Like we just went to, Buffalo, but it was right down the road, whatever. So I'm like, I have my roller bag, and I'm like, got my suit on, my bad suit that was like way too big. Like at the time, I look a lot different now, but like my upper body was so much bigger, and like buying a shirt or buying anything off the rack just didn't work. So I had to get but I was like smaller, so I had to get, because of my neck size, I had to get bigger shirts. But then the body, they were like parachutes. so like the regular shirt that fit me, I couldn't like buckle, or it would like be snapping the button off. Like I've looked at like button extenders and all different kind of stuff. But like, so I'm there, I'm walking, I'm getting ready to go and they do the security at the facility. So you go through the guardrail and everything at the facility. So I'm walking out, and everybody's getting ready, like getting in line to get on the bus, and Bill's assistant, the guy's name's Bear, says, Russ, Bill wants to talk to you real quick. So I'm like, all right. I'm thinking he's going to say something about the game, like something about, hey,
give you a little
on this
nugget.
Third down, you did this, on whatever, like on kickoff, do this, like, just kind of like if he was just watching film, he would have been like, grab Ross when he comes by, whatever. So I didn't understand at this point how nuts this road was going to be. This was the first time that like I had been activated, and then this happened. So then after this, it was like every week. Right. So he calls me in, and I'm just like sitting there like, what's going on? And he's like, all right, so we're going to let you go. And I'm like,
dude, you're in your suit.
I'm like, huh? Well, I'm like thinking to myself, like, my bag's outside the door. Fuck you mean you're letting me go? Like, what do you mean you're letting me? We're going to let you go. We're going to sign you back to the practice squad once you clear waivers on Monday. I was like, okay. He was like, now we're going out of town. We're going, we're leaving today. Don't leave your house tonight. I don't want people seeing you out and about, because we're bringing you back, and we're going to make the move tomorrow at 1 o'clock. Because you make the move on Saturday at 1 o'clock. Before. Like, I don't know if this should be on. Should this be on?
That's crazy.
Fuck it, okay.
Bro, listen, it's already done. You ain't going to get in no trouble.
Yeah, for sure. Exactly.
It
It was 10, 15 years ago, and Bill's gone too.
Some
so,
slimy
shit.
shit.
Yeah. So
I'll say it.
That's some
slimy shit,
slimy
Bill.
shit.
So, I go home. I'm like walking to my car with my bag, and like all my boys are in the guardrail going onto the bus. Like, Benson, where are you going? Yo, what are you doing? I'm like, I'm like texting. I'm like,
Mom won't let me.
I'm like holding back tears, dude. I'm like fighting,
dude, this pisses
like
me
crying,
off so
like
much.
oh man, like I get, and then it just, after that it was just, it was every week like that. But we had just. This story's, a wild one. But going back, we were, that season, this was like Halloween. Okay, so that happened every week after that. I was getting bumped up, bumped down, bumped up, bumped down. So then we played Dallas. We beat them at home, and I was active for the game. And come the bye week, and this kind of stuff, like, it was funny, they say this kind of stuff, like, he was doing me like a favor, but it's really like,
no, he wasn't.
Like, come on, bro. So he called me in, he was like, listen, we're going to keep you active for this week, the bye week, so you get active money,
Very nice.
So that was, he's like, but, we're probably going to, and we'll leave you active for the Steeler week, but we don't know, we have some injuries we're dealing with. We could be letting you go before the next game or whatever, but we're going to keep you active this week. So that was cool of him to do, but at the same time, like, why even tell me? Just leave me active and then fucking deal with it at the time. Yeah. Like, you know what I mean? Like, it's like, you're doing me a fucking favor. Like, you're not doing me a favor.
Why make you stress over the bye?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
now you're stressed out. So
then, coming off the bye, and he actually said to me, he said, you're doing a lot of things better. Keep improving. You're doing a lot of things better. We feel comfortable. We feel comfortable with you on the field. Like, so that there was positive to it. But the reason I say that is because the next week we play the Steelers. It was after the bye week. We played the Steelers at home Pittsburgh at home. Home, my home, Pittsburgh, and they beat us up. They beat us up good. We were fucking out there spinning. Like, nobody knew what was going on. you know, they pounded us. And I played in that game, but all the kickoffs were like touchbacks, and I didn't play on punt that game. So I was literally in the game for like
couple sprints.
For like 2 plays, okay? Literally the whole game. So nothing that could have made me do better or do worse or anything. It was just like, that's the way the game went. Like they didn't punt. Pittsburgh didn't punt one time whenever I was there. Like it was like that kind of game. They just pounded us. Whatever, Hold on, let me figure out where I'm at.
That shit weighs on you.
Oh, yeah, bro. Like listen, dude, I was just in meetings, like
stressed.
In meetings, I would like be gagging in my mouth, like choking all day. I'd have my shirt over my thing all day. On the field, I couldn't get calls out because I was like choking and shit, like on the field. Like some of my like teammates, like some of my boys, would like look at me and during meetings. My boy Dane Fletcher, he's the linebacker monster. He was my main man. He like look at me in the meeting and he'd be like, "Come on, bro." Yeah. But nobody else knew that I was doing this stuff, man. And it was just like, but like that there, I was like, "Come on, dude." Like I'm like you're gonna say that kind of shit. But after that cutting, it was like a little bit before there was another interaction, and then I made a play at practice, and he like kind of winked at me, and I was like, all right, I'm not on the shit list anymore or whatever. But like that year, dude, up and down, it was fucking nuts. And I did that every single week. And then in the Super Bowl, like the Super Bowl came about, and I remember, and I'm going back, but I was never playing in practice. So it was Christmas Eve. We were playing against. In these, I'll get some funnier stories now. Like I don't want to just be depressing.
Dude, no, I appreciate your honesty here because it's really hard. And like again, we can comb back through this, and I want you.
Some of this stuff, dude. Like I don't know if I want it. I don't know if I want you to put it on like here and stuff because like at the same time, like a lot of that's like sacred type thing. You know what I mean? Like to an NFL, to a situation, and I don't ever want to say anything about someone or anything 100%. Like that would do that because like it's a sacred thing, and I don't want to, and I don't know if I want to be naming like I don't like doing like typically that's not how I like
we're not here to get anybody.
Oh, I know. I'm just talking. I'm just talking now, just about like my view on
well, here's why I say that is I want you to speak openly because I think you have. Like, I think you're, like we said, a real person, right? And a lot of these rooms, like, that's why they don't let you two, the rare civilian, like, this is another rare civilian sitting over here.
You're like, giving people that tag.
So that's his tag. Like, that's why a lot of us, like, don't get in those rooms. I mean, even just, us in business, dude, like, we're in rooms and, like, you start to see like the inner workings of how business works. And like, I'm grateful to be here where like we got real people, but like you saw the business side
the real deal.
Of football a lot of normal people don't see. And the only people that speak out on that business side are the guys that got 17 million instead of 19 million. And they're like, it's like, no, like bro, these are how many countless people that have never had a chance to tell this story that weigh on them for the rest of their life, whether it's in a D2 level or in the NFL where you just feel like you're giving it your all and every single opportunity that they have to make it about your play, but it's about something else. And I'm glad that you're speaking out on it. And I'm not saying, and we could bleep out whatever names and cut all this out. But at the end of the day, like, I appreciate this conversation more than anything.
For sure.
Like, this is helping me a lot.
Because the guys like me, bro, I didn't even get the contract. Like, I made it to the rookie mini camp and knew for a fact that I was better than every receiver that was there. Like,
exactly.
And I still didn't get the contract. You know what I'm saying? So even the business of it, right, where you're talking about, like, most guys think once you make the team, you made $1 million. That's what most kids think. You know what I mean? Like, I'm pretty positive that,
like, I'm up and down.
You made 6,000 in 3 weeks.
It's like it's, and you know, and a lot of it that, part of, and I saw and I didn't even see it. I fucking refused to watch all the, I'm not watching all the stuff about New England with Hernandez and the dynasty or all this stuff to see everybody talking about, if I was fucking secured on the fucking team, okay, and I was a player on the 53 that was like a guy like on a multi-year deal or whatever, I wouldn't be fucking saying a word griping about how Bill was or this and that. And I'm not even griping about it now.
Yeah.
Right. My circumstance and I'm speaking from me because I'm not going to speak for anybody else, but from my circumstance, like you guys don't even fucking understand any of that.
Right.
Don't even talk like you like it was so like motherfucker, you're making millions a year, only worried about playing well in the game. Like I'm on the street.
Yeah.
And these other dudes are on the street. You're fucking grinding to get a contract. You're doing, and I understand there's levels and all that stuff, and I understood that, and I understood like what my situation was and all that. But don't fucking go and be a bitch and cry on something about something when you weren't even in that kind of situation.
Come on.
Shut the fuck up.
Come on.
Like that's where I stand with with all that stuff, man. A lot of those dudes don't know, and a lot of them do.
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck. Like you know what I mean? Like
there's different levels of stress and hardships between players. Like depending on where you're at on the depth chart or practice squad, inactive, whatever you are, like those guys have way more stress and hardships than, the elite superstars that are making $20 million a year that you're like
it's a walk on to an undrafted guy. You know what that's like.
Yep.
You did that.
Yep.
Like it's just it might be magnified a little bit, but not in your world. Your world was fucking what you knew.
I try not to talk about it because it's D2 football and people are like, oh, dude, get fucking over it. But like football was my life.
Yeah,
and
bro,
so when I go to a school,
why would it be more important for somebody else doing it at a different level? It's you doing it. If that's your world, like fuck that.
I joke all the time. I'm like, I got 2 years eligibility left, and like I chose to leave college football because I was so mentally beat up from, I had concussions, and when I first started, I got redshirted, got concussions my sophomore year. Nobody cares about this story, but I'm just talking to you now, so I can relate to you. I got concussions my sophomore year, 3 of them in one season. So then this was when things were really starting to be talked about. I had one of these buckets too.
Yeah.
So it was pre all the different improvements.
Yeah.
So they're like, listen, you should probably sit out, at least till spring. So I sit out till spring. I'm getting roasted by the offensive coordinator the whole time because I'm like, he's like old school. So he's like, call me a bitch and things like that about choosing to sit out. And I'm like, this is weighing on me. But, I wanted to finish what I started there because I had a good start to my career. And I thought I could play there and earn a scholarship. And also, we had immediate success when I came in there. We were the number 1 team in D2. We had the D2 runner-up for the Heisman Trophy at quarterback, and we put up 84 points on Edinburgh in a playoff game. Yeah. And so, we had a team. We had guys going to the league, too, so I saw a future there, so I stuck. And then I get into that next year. I come back for spring ball, and I get another concussion. So now I'm on my 4th concussion in one season, and they're like, dude, you're literally a walk-on. You need to think about your future. We don't know what long-lasting effects of, CTE and all these different things are. And so I made the decision. Dude, I cried my eyes out in my dorm room when I had to make the decision to not play football the next year.
Yeah, bro.
When I walked away from the game,
experience be more
that story, that was when I really the first time I had to deal with myself because I didn't have an outlet, football, anything like that. And that's when I was majoring in art and I started getting really invested into my art. And that next year I had to watch my teammates going to practice, going to the games, having fun. You walk into the caf and it's do I sit with them still? Do I am I still part of the team? You're still, you know what I mean? It's just weird. And so then I missed it so much that I came back. And that was the year I came back. I worked so hard that offseason leading up to the spring ball and came out balled out in the spring. I mean, dude, I scored a touchdown in the spring game, had 3-4 catches, good plays, and came back in the fall. I mean, I probably worked out 3-4 times a day if I could, dude. I was literally, that's all I did was work out.
Spring's when walk-ons and people get a little bit of opportunity because the guys leaving. And
they
stuff.
offered me the scholarship.
That's your fucking season.
Yep. After that, they offered me a scholarship for that year, a partial, and they said if you perform well in camp, we'll give you the full ride. And so I go into camp, bust my ass in the off season. I literally am in every headline of camp leading up to the season. I'm taking every rep with the ones. I'm like, this is my year, bro. I'm leading the team. I'm in the locker room. I'm the team voted captain.
Yeah.
And we get to week 1 or the week before game week, end of camp, 2 days are over, all that's over. They sign a transfer from Texas Tech, and then they sign a transfer from Oregon, and they're both slot receivers. One of them was a quarterback. They actually brought him in to play QB, but he was a lefty, and like he struggled adjusting to our offense. So they were like, well, we've already given him all this money. Let's move him to slot because he's tall and he's a big body. He had never run a route in his life. He had like 5 drops the first game. Dude, that shit ate at me for like so long that whole season, to the point where I actually, because I was one of those guys too where I just fell back. You know, I'm a team player. We're you know what I mean, all this shit. And I apologize for taking up so much time in this, but like, dude, I exploded in the locker room, and then that next year was when I just I had some personal life stuff that I had to deal with at home, and I just chose like to go start my life and leave school. And so I had that weight, and I know that weight you're referring to, and like, at the end of the day, like, we're not trying to put anybody under the bus or be like, woe is me.
Oh, yeah.
But there's a mental health side to athletics that, we always talk about the post-playing career. The
biggest breakup in the
like,
world.
That shit is hard for a lot of people, dude. That shit's hard.
Can we talk about that for a second? Because I know you dealt with it as well at one point in time. It's like, talk about that breakup. Like the real breakup. Like some people's like, I broke up with my girl. No, bro. Breaking up with a sport that you've played since you were a baby, damn near, like a kid.
Yeah.
Talk about the breakup. And you went through it a little bit and then got back together with it. You and football be back and forth. You know what I'm saying? And that's great. That's an opportunity. But like, that was probably the hardest thing that I ever personally had to really just come to grips with in terms of breaking up with something. You know what I mean? Like, this is no longer my thing.
I mean, for me, like now, Christian was just saying, get paddle or whatever together, hitting tennis or pickleball or whatever. Like, I feel that I can't do stuff anymore. In football for me, whenever I was like done playing football, it was 2016, and I went the full season without playing. It was Pittsburgh. I pulled my hamstring in camp. I pull my hamstring every camp, which also for a borderline guy,
so tough.
It set me back for 3-4 weeks every time that I can't run. That didn't help my career at all, but always being on the shelf. Like, I was just an injury guy. Some people I was, and I don't blame coaches for thinking the way they do. I get it, man. And they're on the chopping block every second, like I wasn't available like that all the time. And so yeah, and it's a shame because I think I would have had a much better, but everything works out like the way it does for a reason. But no, like my whole, whenever I was done was, there was that 2016 year, and I was, after the season, I'm like, okay, I was still training. Like, I never stopped training. Like, I was playing. I had it in my mind that I was going to be done, but I wasn't sure. And I was thinking, I was working out in Bridgeville. I was training, and I felt really good. I was as strong as I've ever been. Like, I was doing stuff that I hadn't done before in the weight room, and I'm a weight room guy. Like, I was big in the weight room, and I was fast. I was feeling good running around and everything. And then I popped my Achilles, and at that point, I was already at the point where it was like, am I gonna go back? I can grab on. Grab on in camp somewhere. I'm sure there's a million guys that get shuffled in and out of camp. Billy O'Brien was with the Texans at the time. He coached me. He was the head coach. I had like a plug in there that could have got into camp. Like, somebody would have brought me in for camp, and at that point, it's just go compete. You know what I mean? But I could have had an opportunity, and at least in my mind, I was thinking that.
Right.
And so I hadn't like removed myself from it yet. And then whenever that happened, I was just like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
Like I couldn't believe it. And, I didn't do my rehab great probably because I was just, at that point, I was just not, what was I coming back for?
Right.
I was already coming off a season where I didn't play. And then I was borderline going to maybe try to jump on a team. I popped my Achilles, and now I'm like, what am I going to do? Now I got a fucking year of rehab ahead of me that is, for what?
Right.
Yeah.
So it was like, so it was like, mine was that the injury stuff. It was just like, this would be, the end of how things end. Like, I don't get another opportunity because of, this, but, It was tough. It was tough, and
how stressed, like, during all these years were you during the season, getting cut, getting brought back up, being on the street, knowing, like, dude, if they get injuries at D-line that game, like, his ass can still be at home because they're like, sorry, we need D-linemen this week. Like, how stressful was those seasons for you? Because, like, I know how stressful a season is for me. I'm playing, like, I'm lucky enough, I'm the only guy there. I know I'm going to be up, as long as I continue to do my job. But, like, for guys that are up, down, cut, bring back, like, they have lives too. They got some guys have full-blown families that are getting cut and shit. It's crazy.
I mean, bro, like, in being those first couple years in New England, I felt everything that I was doing all day, film room, on the field, could get me cut.
Yeah.
Like,
it's the worst feeling.
And I felt a lot more security in Pittsburgh, but, I think that more came from, like, the coaches. Danny, I was really close with Danny. I love him to death. He's, one of my favorite coaches of all time. Like,
got to get him on here at some point.
Far and away, he's like the best guy. So
Everybody
I knew like he would always look out for me, like stand on the table for me. He knew what I was capable of and this and that. And so I felt more secure with my coaches, but I knew how the numbers game worked already. So I knew if I'm not able to play, if I'm hurt for 2 weeks, like I got hurt, the first preseason game in 16. And at that point, it's like, it's going to go bleed into the season.
Yeah.
It was a bad one, so it's going to bleed into the season. Can they afford to keep me on the roster for this many weeks without me playing? Like, what can Danny do for me then?
Right.
So, like, I just knew how that stuff was. But because of that, the stress is just so amplified of everything all the time. Oh. Like, that was whenever I was done playing, but like throughout my career, my second year with New England, whenever I got cut all those times, like moving forward, I got hurt the next year, and I spent the whole year. I got like an injury. I got hurt in camp, in injury settlement till like week 6 or something like that. I had a high ankle sprain, and then I didn't play that whole season. And then Pittsburgh brought me in. So I missed a full year in 2013, a full year of football, and then got back in with Pittsburgh. Brought me in after New Year's and worked me out, and and then cool. I was on their practice squad. They cut me, signed me back like week 12, and then I finished the season on their practice squad. Then the next year was probably my best year in Pittsburgh. They activated me, I think, like week 3, and then I was active. I was active until I got cut, but.
Mike T still, I tell him this too. I'll send him a text. Mike T still plays tape from when Ross was playing, and he calls him a wild horse rider.
Yeah.
And it's just a tape of them running down on kickoff, and, bro, they absolutely, like, murdered this man. Like, on kickoff, and he runs to the end zone with his hand.
Is this from this picture? Is that what's happening there?
That's from, I think that's after we beat Cincinnati.
Okay.
That game.
So is this when Rusty Benson came?
No, Benson
University.
I've been Rusty Benson since I was in like 7th grade.
Talk about it.
Yeah, can you explain that for us?
Benson U came whenever I was at Villanova. I started at Benson University, but no, Rusty Benson was, my name's Ross. My brother's one buddy was calling me Russ one day. I was like, yo, I don't dig that. So he just kept calling me to mess with me. They were calling me Russ and Rusty, whatever. Well, at our high school, the guy's name is Russ Benson, and he was a teacher. He was a teacher. He ended up being my driver's ed teacher, and he was like a wrestler back in the day. So then, I don't know, they just started calling me Russ Benson, and it just like stuck, and I like wasn't into it at first. I had no idea what it meant, and I still didn't know what it meant. Like, it has no, there's nothing other than my name's Ross and his name's Russ, that they call me Russ Benson. But then, like, going through school, like, everybody called me Benson, Rusty, whatever, and I would get like T-shirts made with said Benson on the back. You got the BU
right here, baby.
That's what that is.
The U, and then the the tassel down the middle.
Yeah, this is hard.
It's a good one.
What?
It's a good one.
That's pretty sick, man. I'm not gonna lie.
Listen, I told him, what else do I need to bring? I didn't know.
I got one,
dude.
I'll get you a shirt. Fuck.
So yeah, take me through that a little bit. Like, what is, like, all right, I know we're coming up on time here, but
I'm sorry.
No, I'm not cutting you short. I just know Trey has like something later today, and listen, I ain't cutting this off. I'll sit here and talk to you for 6 hours.
Why the fuck did he throw it on me?
Because I just got a notification. I got a notification on my phone, and it says we got
back and forth
something
at
coming
each
up.
other. I keep saying it.
Listen, dude, we're trying to grow this media company here, but like, this is what we're growing it for. Like, to be able to have these kind of conversations.
This is great.
For sure.
If we're cool with just a couple more questions,
dude, why are you looking at me?
Listen, this
cool.
is the Christian Kuntz Podcast.
I'm off today.
Your name's on the thing.
I'm off today. This is our
Three
pod.
different spots.
I'm off today. We're good.
Dude,
I'm here all day.
So take me through that. Like, what is the Benson University? Like, we watched a video on like the enrollment and like how does that happen?
The enrollment video is spectacular.
It's unbelievable.
And your cheerleader kick was crazy.
Yeah, thank you. No,
crazy.
I don't know, man. It was just
whose
a fun
idea
thing
was
for me.
it?
So I mean, that video or like,
like just how does
stuff?
that go from?
So my buddy at Villanova had a connection with the kicker, the people that filmed this. And I don't know. I got in touch. The one person called me and they said that they thought it could be funny. And she was like, what would you want to do? I was like, well, and this was before Benson University was anything at all. And I was like, well, I have this, I say I went to my own school. I have shirts made, Benson University. I was explaining to her, I was like, I'm the only one to ever go there. We don't accept applications. We don't, I'm all this different stuff. Oh, bro, this is not
number one acapella group.
So, yeah.
Look at the hair. The hair's outrageous.
It's so funny, dude.
Yeah, that shirt. I don't have that shirt anymore. That's the newest edition that you have right there.
I was gonna say I know that shirt.
I might have one of those. Fuck, I don't even know.
I see the 412 hat.
Yeah. 412 is always looking out.
Bro,
for me.
these videos are great. Like who editing? And
this is the kicker. This company called me and they did it.
It's
Do you know if
sweet.
they're still making videos? Because I went to the channel and it said the most recent one was like
so.
6-7 years ago.
Yeah, I don't think so. They were doing stuff. See, I made it say butt.
Yeah.
No, I don't
Who's
think
Julie?
they were doing. That was just she was the girl from the production company. She was one of the producers.
I thought it was your girlfriend.
No, Julie was she's not my girlfriend.
No.
She's a nice girl. She's my girlfriend. But Trinity High School came down for that one to tackle me.
That's so funny, dude.
Yeah, I can definitely understand why you were talking about.
Oh, man, I haven't seen any of this. I haven't seen these.
You've never seen this?
No, I saw the shortened version, I think.
Now, you say you have a bad hamstring, but that kick says otherwise.
Yeah. Well, I felt good then.
It's
I can see what you mean about the button collar, though, because your neck in this right now is like...
Yeah, I was bigger then. So, but... Yeah, no, the Benson U thing, I told him, I said, we can do something with that. I think that's funny. I said I can be a bunch of different characters. At the time, I really liked that Chris Lilly. You know who Chris Lilly is? He did like Summer Heights High, Angry Boys, Lunatics on Netflix.
Oh, yeah.
He just plays a million different roles.
Right, yeah.
He has like 10 different shows of doing that. So like I was thinking I could do something like that. That could be funny. And they just took it and they wrote the script, brought it to me. I changed everything and then, and we put it out.
I feel like you're like me in the sense that maybe I'm wrong here, but do you like skit comedy like as in I Think You Should Leave? Have you ever seen I Think You Should Leave?
It's my favorite show ever.
Yeah.
You guys are brothers, right?
I have shown so many people in this office clips of I Think You Should Leave.
Dude.
And nobody understands it. Like,
every time I put it on, my wife Ashley, she'll go, we're not watching. We don't have to watch this right now. And she likes the show, but I just haven't. I just put it on. She's like, we don't need to watch this right now.
Right
we
there.
don't need to watch this right now.
Yeah.
It's good. Well, if he's telling you to watch it, you should watch it. It's good.
Do you live in Pittsburgh? Where are you at?
I'm in South Fayette, Bridgeville.
You're in Pittsburgh area?
Yeah.
Okay. So we need to relaunch. We need a Pittsburgh version of I Think You Should Leave.
We need to
skit show.
Oh man,
we need to get him
That's
some
high praise.
content.
Some good content.
We need to bring him back to surface.
Because
I agree.
You do not deserve to be in the dark.
Bro,
Yeah,
you'd no joke. You'd be like, you'd be a massive social media superstar.
But here's the thing,
I know you don't
dude.
like that
Thank
shit.
you.
Like you don't like that.
I feel you.
I know you don't like
No,
that. Like
yeah.
social media, you're an old school type of dude. You
Yeah,
like hate
I'm
that
just-
attention.
But
But
imagine if you didn't have to do the work of it anymore. Like we just
That would help. But I'm just
Yeah,
dude,
but bro,
yeah.
it's I hear what you're saying. Like,
you
Yeah.
know,
he's
That's-
thinking about it, though.
you know,
well, bro,
I'm
the
sure.
reason he hated it was because, like typical media companies that just want to capitalize off of your hype and your wave in the moment, they're sending you a message going, "Can you go do all this work and all of this effort and all of this stuff, and we'll promote it for you?" And then you do it, and you go, "That wasn't fucking worth it." And then it's like, what am I doing this for? Is it for me now or is it for you? That's why the
Yeah.
first question I asked you was
Yeah, I'm
originally
just like
you
a-
did it because you loved it.
Yeah.
And then someone took the fun out of it. So how do we get the fun back in that shit?
Yeah,
Because
I
you
don't
got a
know.
gift, bro.
In my age, I've grown to be more kind of like, I don't know, to myself, I guess, a
Yeah.
little bit, you
Yeah,
know? Like,
that.
I used to be into all that shit, man. I used to fucking care and, like, you know, I'm saying about,
Yeah,
the video stuff. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know if I would
I
give
don't
a
wanna-
fuck, like,
I don't wanna
doing
make
it.
content with you.
Yeah.
Or see you make I just interjected myself into it, but I don't want to do that stuff because I'm like, this could go viral. I want to do it because you have some funny ass thoughts that
No,
need to
for
get out
sure.
of your brain.
Yeah.
dude.
he's fucking, he's fucking
He just
hilarious.
said
Yeah.
straight up, I don't
It's
give
really
a fuck.
hilarious.
Yeah. I mean, I'm
Like you doing a post game Steelers recap show would be
Hilarious.
absolutely
Yeah.
crazy.
Gosh.
What the fuck are you doing?
yeah, guys, I don't know. You know?
Here's
All right,
the-
we'll work on him, dude. We'll work on
Yeah.
It's
it.
up in the air still.
That's okay.
leave it up in the air. I
He'll be
don't.
up there for a little bit. I'll let you guys know, though. I appreciate it. I'm flattered, too. Thank you for the compliments.
For sure.
It's very, very nice. Very, very nice of you guys.
Of course, I don't want to take too much of your time. I know I could do this for 12 hours with longer. We could chop it up all day
Thank
and
you.
more stories, but
That's nice.
I appreciate you coming on. Season 1, episode 9, Rusty Benson.
Wow.
Rusty Benson, you like, share, subscribe, follow, share, repost, all that shit.
All that stuff. All that shit. Do it all.
Do all that.
Share it up out there. What's this? I'm not a pod. What is this on? Is this on podcast?
We're on YouTube,
YouTube,
Spotify.
Everywhere.
Get out there and fucking start doing the downloads and streams.
Yeah.
In reality, though, if you listen to this on Spotify, rate and review because that'll help us a lot. So, YouTube, the biggest thing
call.
you can do is comment and subscribe. If you're listening to this on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, any of those, the biggest thing you can do is rate and review. And then any sort of sharing that you can do on social media to help share the clips. Follow the Christian Kuntz at the Christian Kuntz Pod. On Instagram, we post clips of the show, updates, things like that. There'll be pictures posted to this one, clips, all that stuff. So make sure you go check it out.
The rare
Make
civilian.
sure you
Good
tell
call,
everybody.
yeah.
That's groovy.
Because Mike T will walk by and call me. He'll be like, "What's up, civilian?" He calls everyone a freak, whatever.
Yeah.
He calls me the civilian.
Why?
The rare civilian
Rare civilian.
Yeah.
and the Wild Horseman?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
calls him a wild horse rider.
Wild
Horse
Horse
Rider?
Rider.
Dude, that's a movie. The Rare Civilian and the Wild Horse Rider?
It was me. Oh, I was half. It was me and Antoine Blake was the other Wild Horse Rider.
Wow.
He would put me and Zilla up there.
You guys were flying.
That dude,
You guys were
that
flying.
dude was
Freak athlete.
bro. I've never seen someone move like that guy.
Yeah.
He could
He
fly.
was bro. He was so fast, but he was so jittery, and
Yeah.
it was. I've never seen anything like it. I really have. I mean, I was around some fast. Dree Archer was there too.
Damn.
Dree could cook, dude. But there was an explosiveness to Zilla that I've never seen a human move like that. I haven't.
Yeah, there's. So I'm surprised every day in there watching dudes like.
Bro, there's some freaks out there, man.
What's
there's
going
some,
on?
There's some. I mean,
freaks.
phenom dudes out there. Just, it's very impressive.
Yes.
I know, anybody who's done the stuff, who's done the things, knows how hard it is to do some of the things dudes are doing, and to do it at a level that I did it, seeing what dudes do, I'm just fucking blown away.
Yeah.
I mean, blown away.
Yeah.
I mean, so there's some really impressive dudes in the league right now and out there, and
That's professional
this.
sport. Every
Yeah.
professional sport.
yeah,
That's why fans are fans for a reason.
yeah,
Fuck.
yeah.
That's become a reality for me. I'm sorry. Now, you hate fans.
I don't hate fans. I just dislike them.
because they're chirping in the stands always.
Yeah, they're
How did he catch that
They
ball?
always have something to say.
Right.
Bro, you have no idea the ignorant shit people were fucking tweeting at me whenever I was getting cut and signed. I was like, this guy, come on, bro. Telling me about playing. Get the fuck out of here, dude. Like,
Man.
come on, man. Like, yeah. So,
Uncle John off the boat want to come and try. It's like, man, shut up.
But it's, I just started like laughing at it.
Yeah.
Like, these idiots. Okay. Whatever.
See, I can do that from afar. I can't be in the stands.
Yeah.
It just don't work.
When I got cut from New England, this is a good one, and then I'll wrap it up. I got cut from New England, and all my boys still bring this tweet up. Some guy tweeted at me like, Christian Kuntz's time in New England. I was there for, no joke, 24 hours, not even 24 hours. I practiced one day, got cut. And someone tweeted at me like his time in New England, and it was like the main Simpson character. He like walked in the door, he took off his coat, he hung up his hat, he did one circle around, he grabbed his coat, grabbed his hat, and walked out. They were like, that was my time in New England. And my boys would like send that shit to me now and be like, look how funny this is hilarious.
That's funny, though.
Yeah,
it's funny to have
It is
that,
funny.
too.
It
That's
is.
good.
it sucks it happened to me, but it happens to all of us.
For forever, whenever I was on social media, around every time somebody would get cut, or once a year, my name's in an article compared to somebody on New England who's been cut or whatever, and it's just a comparison. I get like sent the article. And I'm like, thanks. I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? Like, so.
Quit sending me that shit.
Yeah, what are we doing?
Oh boy, Ross, appreciate you.
Yeah, love you, man. Thank you,
no
guys.
doubt.
Thank you guys for having me.
Of course. Thanks for coming in,
Yeah,
man.
for sure. I'll get you a Benson U shirt.
Yeah, bring the
Yeah,
Benson
for
news.
sure. I'll get more.
I'm gonna wrap
for
up the
everybody.
episode. I'm gonna hit my. Oh, that's my finisher right there.
Okay.
Rusty Benson, Ross Ventrone.
Welcome,
Yes.
baby. Welcome.
What's up, guys?
Yes, sir.
We already filmed the show, so this is weird.
We already filmed the show. This is weird.